We are covering dating and relationships. We will not have class next Sunday because we'll be doing Under the Bridge. And then also no class the Sunday after that on July 9th because we will be yet on another college tour, touring several schools in the Southeast. So we plan to come back on July 16th to talk about preparing for college and beyond, and then finally wrap up the series with managing stress and conquering coping skills. So, as a backdrop, our reference book for the series is called Teen Girl Survival Guide. However, this particular lesson on dating and relationships is not included in the book. So, this is totally ad hoc. But in general, most of the material, most of the lessons will be coming from this book, which is available on Amazon. As always, we want to start off with the opening scripture. So our scriptural reference for today is Second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. I'll give you a chance to look that up. And then y'all have your phones and your Bibles. Here, Jared, you read scripture for today. Second Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16. I mean, Second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14.
And God hath both raised up the Lord and will also raise up us by his own power.
Wait a minute, that might not be the right one. Oh, I had you on First Corinthians, my bad. Second Corinthians.
You should read. You can open up the Second Corinthians.
Yeah. Second Corinthians 6:14.
It's in your high stuff. It's in the Bible.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?
Have you heard that verse before? That's a pretty common verse, especially the part about be not unequally yoked. It's commonly addressed with regards to relationships, especially Christian relationships. So I guess first, the word yoked may be somewhat new to y'all, but yoked is a farming image where two animals are yoked together, like they're basically um, kind of linked up together. It may be to like plow the land or whatever. And so this image, since they use a lot of imagery and analogies, parables in the Bible, they're comparing a relationship to this yoking of animals, where they're saying don't be unequally yoked. Because what'll happen if you have a really strong animal with a really, puny, runt sized animal and they're yoked together? What do you think will happen if they're trying to plow the land or do some type of work in the field? And elaborate some more.
Well, if it's if, based on your what you're saying, then it would steer into
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're not going to have a good balance. So, like you said, it's going to be uneven. And the danger when you're unequally yoked, meaning like you're a Christian, but you're dating somebody that's not a Christian, they have the ability to, like you said, to steer you in the wrong direction and to pull you away from your Christian values and just create more of a hardship in the relationship. That's what it is when you're unequally yoked. It creates a hardship on one of the creatures. So you don't want the hardship to be on you. You will have a hardship if you're dating somebody that is not a Christian. It just makes it more difficult in a lot of things in terms of having similar values. You know, if you all had kids, how are you going to raise the kids? It creates strife there. It could create strife in the way you manage your household. So the Bible is warning against being unequally yoked. I'll pause there. Anybody have anything to expound on?
So it's like that, Jaden. Y'all do those sleds for practice? Y'all ever do the 2-man sleds? had a feeling. So you could imagine, right? If let's say if you're on one side of the sled, and let's say one of those prima donna type groups is on the other side. Like say what if a quarterback is on the other side, right? So you being a lineman, you on the right side, and say, right. That's the point. It's unequally yoked, right? You'd be turning your sled, it'd be going in a circle. And that's what this verse is saying. When you yoke up with the wrong person, as far as a relationship, you're gonna be going in circles. So I guess it's saying Lisa is saying don't date prima donnas.
Verlin or Lisa, either y'all got anything you want to add to this?
No, it was a great example. I mean, once you, lots of times I guess illustrations are pretty easy to understand, but once you've been in the situation where you've quote unquote been unequally yoked, it's something that you'll never forget, because it's like, it's really like treading water sometimes, or being taken away by a strong current. Um, and it's something that you really have to watch out for, which is why we encourage our kids, why uh, Chase and y'all's parents, they encourage you all to think. They instill in you values, and it does make a big difference.
Amen. Amen. So thank you for that, Verlin. So that is our foundation scripture for today as we get into the discussion.
Mom and Dad, have y'all ever been unequally yoked?
On an issue or in general? Oh, absolutely.
Not to my recollection. I always made it a point to try to date Christian boys. Shame. All right, so it's gonna be a rap session today. We're gonna talk about dating and relationships.
That girl kind of like Scott.
You thought she was cheating on you?
Queenie trying to be messy on here.
This would be awkward.
Lisa, come get Queenie, please. Is Lisa there?
On the way.
Oh, my bad. Bro, that young lady looked just like Jared's girlfriend. Yvonne trying to be messy.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Zoom up.
all booed up with some other dude.
All right. So we're gonna have a bit of a rap session. So first question on the table, I want to see what y'all think. What is the average age that girls typically start dating? 3rd grade.
I don't know. I was probably realistic. Probably like 8th grade.
Give me an age, not a grade.
8 plus 5. You just add 5 with a grade.
13. What'd you say, JD?
Yeah, like once puberty starts going.
So 10, 13, 12, 13. What you say, Manny?
That works.
13. What you think, Verlin?
16, 17.
16, 17. All right. So
That man got
the,
daughters.
the boopies were pretty much on point. So according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, girls start dating at an average age of 12 and a half, whereas boys typically start around 13 and a half. And it's interesting to note that for most girls, when they're at this preteen age, like this 12 and a half, they're usually dating in groups. There's not usually a one-on-one situation when they go out. They might go out to the mall, hang out at the mall with their boyfriend, quote unquote, but they're hanging with another group of friends, not a one-on-one situation in most cases.
I think that's funny. I think it's true, but I think it's funny. The girls are at 12 and a half, and the boys are at 13 and a half. That means those girls, they think they dating and the boys don't.
Right,
I think
right,
that's the
right.
girls start puberty.
Or the girls are dating older boys.
Yep.
Or a minority. Mom, what age would you let your daughter start dating?
Like a one-on-one situation, probably about 16.
Now, what about us?
Well, y'all old enough now. I might have gone with 15 for a daughter. That's probably the youngest though, 15 or 16. To me is the sweet spot.
What
No.
you saying, bro?
There is no sweet spot for me.
Girls mess.
Right. All right. So I don't think we have any of the young ladies on the call, but I'm gonna ask y'all this question. I'm gonna flip it a little bit. So I was gonna ask the young ladies what are some of the qualities. Okay, cool. Who, Olivia or Avery?
Wait,
What-
what are?
Which one?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Is this the
Who is
question?
this, Avery?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Keep on going.
Good, good. So, question on the table. We're talking about dating and relationships. Remind me, how old are you, Avery?
I'm 15.
Okay, so you in that sweet spot I was talking about.
Not us.
So, Avery, what do you think are some of the qualities that you should look for in a potential boyfriend?
For me, actually, I don't even know. I guess like personality, being kind,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if I don't really know. Lily probably would know.
Yeah.
Lily's here. She is.
Just gonna throw Olivia under the bus.
Hey, Olivia,
Hi.
how you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Avery say you the expert at this question.
I'm not the expert, but I can try.
All right. So, what do you think are some of the qualities that you should look for in a potential boyfriend?
Maybe for me, it's really like trustworthiness, loyaltiness, and humor, probably.
I like that humor.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Cause also what's the word? Also like I don't know, curiosity in a way for like
Mhm.
because I wanna be with someone that like I can share what I love and they can share what they love with me. So yeah, like curiosity in a way. And then of course the usual kindness stuff. So yeah.
That is a wonderful list, Olivia.
Thank you.
I like that.
so they don't have to look good, Olivia.
Did you hear Jared?
No.
Say it louder.
So they can just look any kind of way, Olivia. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. We'll see. It depends.
All right,
Maybe
so I'm gonna turn.
glasses, but
Jared, that's code for no.
maybe glasses will do.
Mm-mm-mm.
So I'm gonna turn the question around on the boops in here. So I got Jaden, Jared, and Chase in here. So instead of what should you look for in a potential boyfriend, what qualities do you think you should bring to the table as a potential boyfriend?
Gotta bring a certain level of protection, I'd say. You can't be no scrub, as they say in the song, because you don't want to be caught lacking. And then someone's like trying to do something with your girl, and you're just gonna sit there and take it and just sit there and watch. That can't happen. Gotta be nice. Gotta be a gentleman. And I mean, you can splurge on her every now and then, but you don't want to spend too much money on her, because that's gonna break your pocket. But it's nice to do it every once in a while.
Mhm.
Do little things like that. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, JD?
I think it's important to, just be there for them, emotionally. I think that you have to be trustworthy. You need to, she needs to, feel protected by you. Yeah, it's pretty much what Jared said.
Okay. Thank you, JD. And Chasey.
I'd say you have to be like the backbone, and you can't let her walk all over you, because if you do that, then she won't respect you, and if she don't respect you, then you don't have anything. And then I would also say that you have to have a certain level of like status to where she's not like embarrassed to be with you, because if she's embarrassed at any moment, then if her friends talk about you, then you're done. So you have to like you can't let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if her friends like say how embarrassing you are, then you're out of business.
I think it's noteworthy that society's taking a turn no more. Because for 2,000 years, men were supposed to be the protectors of women, but now it's almost socially incorrect to do so. So you have to be careful. You can't get with a girl who thinks they're going to be doing all that. You gotta be that guy. It's in the Bible.
Okay, so so what I'm hearing is that you would search for a more for lack of a better word, more feminine type of girl that doesn't like, you don't want somebody that's like real big on women's lib and I can do it for myself. And
that was a good word. What was that word, Chase? Better, right?
Better.
You can always do it for yourself until you realize.
Yep.
What about the young ladies on the call?
We already talked to Olivia and Avery. Oh, Olivia and Avery. Y'all have any comments or thoughts on what Jaden, Jared, and Chase just said?
They said, what did they say? Because they couldn't hear.
Oh no! Oh, they couldn't hear
Now,
y'all.
they did hear the women's liberation part.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Right.
Jared,
Oh man.
Jared, repeat.
So
Summarize.
yeah, give a high level summary straight in the microphone.
Basically, what I was saying is, for the first 2,000 years of human civilization, men were supposed to be the protectors and leaders in society. Now, at the turn of the millennium, or whatever you want to call it, society has taken a change to where, men and women are well, for lack of better words, equal, which we are. But there are certain things that women do better than men, and there's certain things that men do better than women. And one of the things that men do better than women is protect. Now, if you're going to be a woman with a man, I mean, hopefully you can trust him enough that he could protect you. I don't even know. I mean, if I was a woman, I wouldn't even want to. It's not like it's a duty. It's not like something like I think it's fun, but you just got to do it. That's what you're called to do, and it's in the Bible. So I think that's a quality that most women should be grateful for. And there's also things that women are better at, like probably like I can't say there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things women are better. I don't want to sound sick, but like they are naturally better at like taking care of kids. Now, I mean that might sound sexy, but like that's just naturally what like women are better, and some men could be better. It's just a give or take thing. But
So you mean like a caregiver,
yeah, more
nurturer?
more like, yeah, they're more nurturing. That's just a quality of one, and men might not be as much as that sometimes. But yeah,
Okay. So girls, any ideas about what he said? We don't have all day, so
About like
hold on. Can y'all hear Libby?
Yep.
Go ahead.
about like the whole a woman being a caregiver thing. Yeah, maybe that's true, but like that's why we can teach them if we want to like if like we say the woman has a job and the guy doesn't, then we can teach them while we're at it so that they're able to be more of a caregiver, and then the kid will see like, hey, yeah, my dad can take care of me too. Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
like it.
yeah, that would be good, but I doubt y'all would want to be with men who don't work. I wouldn't advise that. That's economically just not even a smart decision. But yeah, in the case you said, I mean, yes, that could be a decent decision, I guess. But I think both parents should work. I think that would be best for the whole family as a whole.
Chase said, or just the dad.
Say with your chest.
Okay, you gotta say it in the mic.
You gotta say it with your chest.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Oh, what I was saying earlier was the for a characteristic, you should look for a guy that's like the backbone of the relationship. Because if he lets you walk all over him, then you won't respect him, and if you don't respect him, then there's no point of being with him in the first place. And then I was also saying he has to have status to where to where like you're not embarrassed to be with him, because if you're embarrassed to be with the dude, then your friends are going to talk about him, and then once your friends start talking about him, then it's a wrap.
Okay, that I agree with. Yeah. He needs to have some sort of self-defense.
Okay.
What you want to add, JD? All right, so I'm going to share some of the things that I thought were important qualities that you should look for in a potential boyfriend. Number one, a Christian. We talked at the beginning about being unequally yoked, so I think that's one of the key things you should look for, somebody that is a Christian like you. Also, I think somebody that's well-mannered, that's a gentleman, that's going to treat you right. So I heard that from the young lady, somebody that treats you with kindness. I still love the gentlemanly mannerisms, like opening the door, holding the door open for a young lady, closing the door when you get in the car. I like it when a young man walks on the street side of the road. It's an old-fashioned custom, but it's just another way of being a gentleman.
They sit at the restaurant and they're facing the door.
Yeah.
Actually.
And even I like it when I was teasing yesterday when we are coming back from my trip. Like, I can't remember the last time that I've had to drive when coming back from the college tour. I can't remember the last time that I've had to drive the car when either Carlos or the boys were in the car with me. They always will take the driver's wheel, and I see that as a sign of being a gentleman. So just little mannerisms like that. I also would look for somebody that's a good student, somebody that's ambitious, that's not just settling for mediocrity, but striving to better themselves. That goes along also with being a hard worker. Because if they're a hard worker now, there's a very good possibility or probability that they will be a hard worker as they become an adult man. And that's something that you want to look for. Another thing to look for is somebody that has a good relationship with their family. Does he have a good relationship with his mother, with his sisters, with his father, other family members? That'll give you a good sign as to whether or not he may be a good family man. Of course, we have to get on the look. So somebody that's attractive and well-grown would definitely be a characteristic that you want to look for. But attractiveness is not the ultimate thing. If you see where I have it on here, it's lower, it's in the middle of the list. I don't think attractiveness should necessarily be your number one thing. There's a lot of other qualities that go into the total package. So don't be so quick to dismiss a young man if he's not, your heartthrob or a 10 out of 10.
But in that case, what happens when she does come across a heartthrob? What's gonna happen, Mom?
She leave.
No, not necessarily. She won't necessarily leave because she's got all these other good qualities to lean on. The heartthrob might not provide all these other things on her list.
Mom, at this age.
No.
But Mom, that's why you need the backbone and the status, Mom.
Luckily, you and
See,
Dad.
the things at the top of my list build the foundation. If you have the foundation, then the next time you see
Good
the
student.
heartthrob walking across the street, you won't be so easily triggered
Mom, you think
because
girls?
you've got a foundation
You
with
think
your
girls these days
boyfriend.
want a good student?
You should.
The young ladies are on the phone. So y'all pondering.
Yep. I'll ask them as soon as I finish. So, a good circle of friends. I think that's important that they have a good circle of friends, because people tend to behave or follow along with the groups that they hang with. So if their friends are doing mischievous things or doing drugs or just not doing such great things, then there's a good chance that young man might be following that same behavior. Then you'll see I have a gap here. It was interesting that Jared brought the provider up because I put a gap here because I thought that the provider and the protector were a little bit more important as you get older. I didn't necessarily think it was as important for, a preteen or early teen, but more so as you really start to think about marriage and you're in your later teens, maybe you're in college. That's when I think the provider and the protector role come into a much bigger play. But it was interesting to hear you say, Jared, that is something important even now at this age.
It's one of the most.
Interesting. Good to hear. I like it. Yeah. So Olivia and Avery, you got any thoughts on my list?
No, not really. I mean, the one thing though, and I know that everybody will be like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't put Christian at number 1. I would put it at number 2. And I'll tell you why. Because I know Daddy just looked at me weird. And I'll tell you why. Because what if they're every single thing on the list, but they're an atheist? And I'm like, that would not be an automatic turnoff for me. Because what if they're starting to get into Christianity? And I'm like, oh, okay. I can take you to church every once in a while. We can take this slow and we can keep going. We can move forward. And we can learn to be into Christianity together. See, everything works out. And when he meets my family, of course the first thing they're gonna ask is are you Christian? And if he's like, I'm could just take this slow and we can work things out together.
See, so you missed the you missed the base scripture that we're talking from,
Right. That's
not
where I would
being
go too.
unequally yoked.
It's not unequally.
That is unequally yoked. You're a Christian and dating an atheist. That would be pretty hard. You know what being unequally yoked means, right? Not balanced. So what if, yeah, you think that you can, there are a lot of relationships where women think that they can change the man, and probably, this is Verlin, 9 times out of 10 they can't. You know, the only person that can change themselves is them. Now, yes, you can pray for them, you can be friends with them, you can aspire to one day date them, but that is a recipe for ending that it's not going to turn out the way that you think it might. So the Bible is trying to teach us that there is a better way to go, because in all things you want to honor God. So I respect your opinion, but as your father, I'm here to teach you as well, baby.
Yeah, you don't want to be a Captain Saber, bro.
Ah.
Got a bunch of simps out here, and it's not your job to. I think, who's that speaking? Was that Avery or Liv?
That was Livy. Avery's still
Hey,
well
Livy.
versed.
I mean, I think you got such a beautiful spirit to want to help. You got to put that with it. That's even more so to what your father was saying. That's even more so why you have to be evenly yoked, because you got charlatans out there that'll take advantage of your sweetness. So you don't want that. I think you went all the way to atheists, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of steps in between the atheists, right? So I mean, I think if the brother is maybe a Christian but not practicing, I mean, you know, that's an area where you may want to put your good ministry heart towards. But trying to convert an atheist, that's a long way to go. I think to your father's point, you just knock the dirt off your shoulders on that one. Keep on moving.
Amen.
What you say?
I totally agree. I wouldn't even go there. I mean, it's one thing if it's in your heart to try to convert them and lead them to Christ. I think that's perfectly fine. Do so totally on a platonic basis, totally on a friendship basis, not with the guise of trying to enter in a relationship with that person.
Right.
Unless
right up with the speaker. Y'all got to stop doing that.
Unless I wouldn't even entertain a relationship with that person unless and until they actually convert to Christianity. Then I would entertain a relationship. Other than that, I would just be pure platonic friends and work, you know, basically as a missionary trying to lead them to Christ.
What you think, Liv? What we gave you a lot of discussion points back. What are you thinking?
Before you get out.
You can go ahead and answer.
What were your thoughts?
He said, with everything that was said, what are your thoughts now, babe?
Okay.
Did you give him a 10?
Did any of it make sense to you?
Yeah.
We'll let it marinate with you. Like your father said. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying, Liv, we love you, and just like your father said, you're such a sweetheart, always have been. And we just want what's best for you. And some of us with gray hairs in our beard, we've just been around. We've been around these poo butts, and we've been around poo butt discussions, and we don't want that for you at all. So just take it in stride, young sister. We love you.
Amen. Amen. All right. Moving on. Next question. This is just the open discussion. in a teen relationship, what do you think a healthy relationship looks like?
That's how Queenie be looking at me.
The floor is open. What about you, Jared? Since you got a girlfriend, what do you think a healthy relationship looks like?
Got loyalty. Got to just enjoy spending time with each other and be able to, talk about like things going on and just be open with each other and yeah, stuff like that. Maybe as a Christian, probably going to church with each other. We're gonna do that today, but she's moving, so I'm gonna move. But yeah, just enjoy spending time with each other. I feel like you should be able to like enjoy each other's presence more than anything. Like it doesn't really matter where y'all go. It's just like that y'all are with each other. That's the best part. Yeah. Yeah.
Olivia and Avery. Did you hear Jared's comments?
Hey, they had to get out. They went inside the church.
Okay.
Our apologies. Yeah, our apologies for that. But,
yeah, no worries. No worries. Jaden and Chase, y'all have any thoughts on what a healthy relationship looks like?
I would say a healthy relationship is one where neither of them are replaceable. Because if one like can leave and they're like, I don't really need to do it, then they're less likely to put that much effort in. But when you need something versus when you just want something, then you're gonna act completely different. So if y'all both need each other, like y'all been together for a certain amount of time and like y'all know it'd be really hard to replace them, then y'all are more likely to stay together, I feel.
Very interesting. Did you have anything to add, JD?
I believe a healthy relationship is when you both are compatible with each other. You both like each other on a deeper level, not just on like an attractive like what Jared's trying to do something. Not just like on a shallow level, but on a deeper level. One where you have to have respect for one another, and you don't take advantage of someone's kindness, like someone like Olivia. Like, don't not take advantage of that, and basically what they said. So.
Very good. Thank you for your feedback, boys. The next question I wanted to ask you all, what do you think are some unique challenges that Black girls face when it comes to dating?
As for everyone?
Yep.
Or just
Anybody wants to answer? Yep. You got something in mind, Berlin?
I think for Black girls, what's the word I want to use? Competing with the world's view of what a woman should be, and that comes that first thing you think about are looks, which a lot of our girls struggle with. Another thing is being accepting of who they are, and so that's kind of inclusive of hair, body, swag, et cetera, plug it in there. And then of course all the social norms that we have to fight against, the microaggressions, the racism, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep, I agree. Anything y'all want to add?
Take this microphone away before I say something. All right, but nah, I feel like in the suburbs, I feel like it's extra hard on them because I mean the numbers are kind of against you, like statistically. Uh, I I'd say it's probably easier for like a white girl to like a black guy than a black dude to like a white, or not that, for a white dude to like a black girl. So then the numbers are just really stacked against you. But if you're just a good, like those qualities we listed, I mean, there's still enough guys in the area, and black guys in the area. You just got to know the like right spots. Like I'm sure there's a high school somewhere in the area where, you know, there's a lot of black guys, if that's what you want. But I'd say I don't know if most people would agree with this, but I'd say like when like young you are, you know, maybe just look outside of race a little bit and just try to see what you like and what you don't like. I don't think race is the hugest thing, but I mean it helps. And also, yes, sir.
No, go ahead, finish your point, and then I have a question for you.
Got you. And also, I was just gonna say like some black girls and black guys got to look inside and say like, am I truthfully being, am I like being attractable? Because if you're gonna walk around and your role model is like JT and all those people, I mean, and you're gonna act like that, and you're gonna act outlandish. And also for black dudes, if you're gonna walk around and, you know, your pants down to your knees, I mean, it's not the most attractive thing. So you gotta first do some self search and say, am I actually an attractable person, and then go from there.
So that's a great way to approach. So my question is one of the things that you said that stuck out to me was looking outside your race and you know, seeing what you can find. But those statistics or those numbers that you gave, do you think that applies to blacks as well? If say if you wanted to date a black girl or a black boy, dating black on black, would those statistics still be the same in your eyes? And if not, why? Or if so, do all those?
What statistics were you referring to, Mr. Verlin?
I think you said that it was pretty. The numbers were stacked against against you for finding. Lots been said. I probably should have asked my question before we kept on going on.
I think what I said, if I remember correctly, I think what I said was like living in the suburbs. The numbers are because the way it's set up is like I think white. Well, I know that it's more likely that a white girl would get with a black dude than a white guy to get with a black girl. And since in the suburbs, like the predominant race is white, that would give like the black dude more area per se to, yeah, more leverage than the black girl, which I'm basically saying, yeah.
Let me ask you this, kind of, sort of, and it doesn't have to be accurate. What do you think the percentages are at your school, blacks and other races?
Blacks and other races?
Yeah. Do you think your school is 50% white, or do you think it's, you know?
Yeah, it's right. It's like it's definitely predominantly white, maybe like 30 to 40% white, and then you got like a lot of Asians. Blacks probably like,
put a percentage on it, please.
Let's say 35. Let's say 40% white. 20% Asian.
60.
I don't. You got What's that? That's
Yeah.
60,
That's 60. So we
and
got 40% left.
you can go like 15% Hispanic,
Okay.
maybe, and then what's the
Put a
other
number
race?
on black for me. I'm sorry.
Black's probably black maybe 8%.
Lisa shaking her head
8% for
over here.
black.
So 8%.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hmm.
In line.
Do you
What you thinking, Bird?
do you think it's what maybe it's just because of how the environments we raise our kids in, but do you not search out someone that looks like you, or that's not important anymore? Do you
I
feel any
used to
more
not.
comfortable? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
like
I'm sorry.
I like that used to not be like something I cared about too much. But now I'd say it's more important to me. But I'd say it still might not be number one. Even I mean, my girlfriend's black, but I think like I was attracted to her because like by the way she acted. So like if she was like another race, I'd probably still like talk to her and stuff. But yeah, I'd say as you get older, it's definitely probably more important. I feel like when you date inside the race, is probably less problems, especially marriage. And the older you get, like you're gonna start dating, looking at marriage in the background, I'd say. But I like younger, like ninth grade, most of that stuff doesn't really even matter, first of all. So
Sure.
I mean, I guess if your parents are like hounding you about it, then like, date inside your race and whatnot. But I think there's beautiful people of all races. You just you got to give people a chance sometimes. But I will say that like most of the white girls I've dated have been not the best. So you can do with that as well.
I only asked the question because I hear, we only have one child that's dating in our household, and I hear the things that he says, when it comes to say, the segment of black people at his school versus some of the other segments, and and I guess what we try to let him know is everything that we've discussed on here. I know this is about girls, but the way all the positive stuff that you should be looking for, that exists out there. But I understand it from you all's point as well. Some of these other kids, it basically starts with family and what they're allowed to do, or how they're allowed to express themselves. But I want to make sure that we're not just closing the door on dating your own race, versus dating outside your race, I guess.
I'll have one more thing. Like once you get a car in the equation, then you have like less of an excuse to like, because then you got pretty much the whole district to pick out. Like honestly, like I don't know if this sounds bad or not, but I don't really find like a lot of the black girls at my school attractive. But like in our district, we have a lot of really good ones. And my girlfriend goes to Cinco, so, or which is a school I don't go to. But basically, what I'm saying is once you get a car, like your excuse like not to get what you want out of a relationship or who your ideal girl is like pretty close to zero.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I mean, I think you're driving down the right road as usual, Verl. I mean, look at the pressure, and this is why we're doing this series. Look at the pressure we're putting on our young black ladies. Jared had a great point in that. I mean, you just got to look at the numbers. Here is the number breakdown at Seven Lakes where the boys go. 36% white, 30% Asian, 24% Hispanic, 7% African American. So, and then we'll say, then those of us, well, I'll put it on me, then I'm from blackety black New Orleans, and so my upbringing would be, and my tendency and my social mores would say, look, for the best, the most revolutionary thing that a black man can do is to date, marry, and protect the black woman. But then we got to look at it, Vero. Look at the situation we're putting our sons and daughters in. 7% African American. I mean, there's more of every other race at the schools than blacks in these suburban schools. We're putting them in a heck of a position, you know.
Yeah. Lisa, has pointed that out to me, and then that 7%, they follow the trends. So,
Right.
every time I see sagging pants, I just shake my head, or or how they carry themselves, versus some of these other kids, their families are pretty strict and what they expect, and they hold to that, so yeah, it's a great point. It's much different than how we were raised,
Right. And it's different, bro. It's different from how it was when we first arrived on the scene 13 years ago. I mean, these numbers are like the Asian and Hispanic numbers have drastically increased, and the African American number has drastically gone down. Like I remember when that African American number was more like 12 to 13% in the last decade. So.
I also wanted to say real quick that one of the challenges that I thought that are facing our black girls is trying to be, either you too black or you're not black enough, or
Yeah.
trying to fit in. That's always been an issue for them, for us.
Yeah, you're right on that. What's the percentage of black students at your kids' school?
I'm looking it up right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same, because my kids have Indian and Asian friends and African friends. They don't have a lot of African American friends. I hear Hiba and Suhali and all these other names. I don't hear Johnsons and Williams.
So here's the breakdown.
Right.
So their school has 81% minority enrollment.
Oh wow.
19% white, 44%. Well, let me give the actual numbers. 18.9% white, 44.2% Asian, 17.4% Hispanic, 16.5% black, 2.7% two or more races, 0.2% American Indian, Alaskan Native, and then 0.1% Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander. And that 16% black, they have they count African all in that.
Right.
So if they broke it, I wish they broke it down into African American, that number would be much, much lower.
Well, it's systematic why that number isn't broken down. And it's also systematic why Hispanics there's a category for them to say Hispanic and white too, by the way. And I think maybe it'd be good, I don't know how we'd get to it, but it would be great to have a dialogue, and it's not for this series, but to have a dialogue about why is there's this prevalence in my experience. There's in my experience where non-American born blacks separate themselves, like they come across as if they think they're better than us. And I would love to have that discussion, because maybe they don't mean to, but it's getting to a fever pitch now.
Yeah, and Avery could actually talk to this point because when she joined the Black Student Union, they used to call it African, I guess African Student Union, but they were trying to be more inclusive to include more African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up to an event and the numbers were pretty much African.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the same with our place. That's why.
I mean, and this is the thing where I think it's notable that when our African brothers and sisters have the control, that they're saying, no, African Americans, we don't want you in here. But when we had an opportunity, when we had the control, we were like open borders. Everyone in the diaspora come. It's worth a discussion, but not here.
Mm-hmm. So while we're on the subject of race, I did want to share this statistic with you. So Black men are twice as likely as Black women to intermarry, basically marrying outside of their race. So this was a study that was done by the Pew Research Center. It's a couple years ago, but taking a look at the percentage of newlyweds who married outside of their race. The dark green line represents men and the lighter green line represents women for each race. And it's very interesting to note the tremendous unbalance when you look at Black men versus Black women. So that further supports your point, Jared. Yep. The fact that Black men are much more likely to date outside their race, whereas Black women are not.
Wait, you talk about numbers. Figures don't lie, but liars can figure.
What?
This is a terrible way to say this number. Because so this is like of the Black, this is like, oh man, this is like of the Black men that are inclined to date out of their race, this is what the numbers look like. But the reality still is that Black men marry 85% of Black men marry Black women. That's still the stat.
Not according to this, at least as far as newlyweds. When they look at newlyweds who
are intermarried, they're only looking at, see what I'm saying? They're looking at that. So they're looking at the 15%. So 85% of Black men marry Black women, but they're saying of the 15% that don't, this is the case.
I don't know that
percent of U.S. newlyweds who are intermarried. They're only talking about intermarriage.
I don't think that's how I interpret that.
I know it's not, but it's not. That's terrible. It's a terrible numbering. It's right there on your chart, though, Queenie. Percent of U.S. newlyweds who are intermarried. They're only looking at the 15% of Black men that date outside their race.
Okay, so if you interpret it your way, that you're only looking at the 15% that date outside their race, then what does this 24 represent?
I'm saying yes, of the 15%, this is true. But I'm saying, like Dr. Tolan taught us at Tuskegee University, why concentrate on the 20%? We got 15% here. Why concentrate on 15%? You got 85% of brothers that are marrying Black women. Why not put that picture up?
Well, that's not how I interpreted this chart.
How I interpreted what? Can you read? What's wrong with this? Lord have mercy. Go ahead, Queenie. Interpret it.
I think what they were trying to say is 24% of Black men marry outside, 24% of newlywed Black men from this time period from
you didn't
2015.
You didn't read the whole
That's terrible.
Who are intermarried.
Who are intermarried, Yvonne. You purposely you want to show this for some reason, but that's not. This is only based on Black men who intermarry. And that's not the 80-20 rule. Why would you talk about those men, those Black men?
Well, the point that I was trying to make is that is more of an unbalance in the Black community than with the other communities where Black men are dating or marrying outside of their race at a much higher rate than the women are.
Sure.
So that's what it says. You can at least give me that.
But so what you're saying is like black men are still like more likely to date outside the race than any other. More likely to date
No,
outside the
not
race than-
necessarily. Well, not according to this. Like according to this, I would say Hispanic men are more likely to date outside their race, slightly more than blacks. But it's not as big of an issue for Hispanic women because they're also dating outside of their race. But with black women, I think if you were to really look at it, when you ask these other races, whites, Hispanics, Asians, if they would be willing to date a black woman, the answer for most of them is no. If they're going to date outside of their race, most like more times than not, it's not going to be because they're dating a black woman. It's because they're dating a white woman or one of these other races. Yeah, at least give me that.
I'm not. We had a long discussion about this for the good of everybody else. We might as well talk about this too, right? I think we got to be careful with stats, right? Like we spend a lot of time when we're socially, and now it's like we're being trained because of social media to look at anomalies as if that's the reality. Like that's what we should be looking at. The anomaly is that black men date outside their race. There's 15% of black men who intermarry. Of that 15%, this is the breakdown. But this chart doesn't say that very well. Like to go to this chart, it would have been better to have that chart where you have the pie of all of those brothers that are chasing after black women. Like give the brothers credit. And then you could say, okay, then of the brothers that they are predisposed to intermarry, this is the breakdown. But to kind of put this up first, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's right. Exactly.
Well, we just interpreted this graph two different ways. So if I misinterpret, I wouldn't falsely put up information if I knew it was false. It's because I misinterpreted. Apparently, that's why I'm showing it.
You have opportunity to gain new knowledge right now, and I said it 4 different ways. It's not a misinterpretation. Look at what it says: percent of U.S. newlyweds who are intermarried.
Yeah, but you still haven't reconciled with this 24 and 12.
I don't really care.
15%.
I don't really care. Like for me, you're asking me, I'm more concerned with the brothers that are. It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle out here. 85% of us are loving, marrying, dating, protecting the black woman. I want to talk to those. I want to talk to those brothers. The 15% that want to intermarry, that's a different ministry. That's not my ministry. I don't really know that very well. So I don't want to swim in that pool.
I understand. We'll agree to move on.
Thank you.
All right. And in conclusion, just wanted to end on some of the common reasons why teenagers break up.
You should switch to one.
What, deception or cheating? You think that's number one? So we got emotional immaturity, deception or cheating, lack of space or somebody being too clingy, peer pressure. So that goes to Chase's point where the peer pressure, because your friends don't like your boyfriend or girlfriend, they convince you to break up with them. Ineffective communication and stress. What do y'all think about this top 6 list? Pretty much hit it on the nail.
Yeah, I would say.
And then because we're running short on time, just final thing.
Yeah.
So, with these teen relationships, more likely than not, they're not going to last forever. more likely than not, your high school sweetheart is not going to become your wife.
Poor baby looks so sad.
So when the breakup does happen, you got to find ways to manage that. So for our adults on the call, do you have any closing words of advice on how to deal with a breakup, should and when it happens?
Wow. Probably for me, to put my focus on something else, put all my energies. Not
No,
to
that's
say that
right.
I wouldn't be hurt, but life goes on, and you have school, you have family, you have other people that need you. So you can't just sit and sulk. You got to keep moving and put your focus and your attention on other things.
That's right.
I think.
Yeah, I think, my mama, I had a breakup, and I distinctly remember this. My mama told me to lift my head up and keep it moving.
Mhm.
Because
Oh
as you
man.
said, these, all relationships, some 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 relationships are only meant to last for a season. Look
Mhm.
at the positives, learn from the negatives, and keep it moving. And I know that's a real blunt way uh, of putting it, but don't mark time. You probably heard this, you know, uh, a number of ways, but why sit and cry over spilled milk? Why did you break up? The facts will tell you. You know, what were you overlooking if you weren't the one that initiated the breakup? What is it that you weren't willing to accept or that you thought that you could change?
You prescribe to
You
the
know,
big fish in the sea narrative.
yeah,
Yeah, for Bernie.
I promise you, uh, the way that I moved and the way that I dated in high school is much different than the way that I dated in college. Is much different than the way that I dated afterwards. Priorities change.
Back in high school.
You have any advice, Manny?
I thought, no, I mean, what's been on the floor has been fantastic advice. Like what Lisa said, you got, particularly most of it, you're gonna be in school anyway. You should be put your pursuits into your studies, and don't worry about them poop ups.
Right.
Love your
And
advice, Mom.
what I'll say, depending on the nature of the relationship and how deep you were into it, at some points it may feel like it's almost like the end of the world, like you'll never get over this. But believe me, you will. No matter how hard it seems, you will get over it. And I just like to think of it in terms of that's not the person that God had intended for you. He's got something bigger and better in store for you in the future. So going along with your analogy, there's many more fish in the sea. That saying is oh so true. That person is not the end all be all. There's somebody that's still in your destiny that's out there waiting for you that the Lord has in store for you. So that would be my advice. So that basically concludes our lesson today. Are there any questions or comments?
Great lesson. Um, my feelings are, these conversations should happen, uh, you know, beyond just this arena. Uh,
Mhm.
some of this, I'm glad that my girls were able to participate on some of it, but I really want them to uh, to hear the entire thing. Olivia, she left this conversation not too enthused off of the information that we gave her when 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 she talked about dating a atheist. But you know what? That's something that she's gonna have to learn.
Right.
She has a very big heart. She's very accepting. But she's not even looking. Well, yeah, I say she's not even looking, at the one relationship that's happening in our household, but there's a lot of details that she doesn't realize either. You showed a graph of the common reasons for a breakup. One of the things that we had said that probably should have been on there was family dynamics.
Mm. Okay.
Uh,
That's a good one.
I mean, when you sit and rank and rate what's important to you, God, family, and then whatever else falls in line, you know, your family's going to be there for you. And you just don't date someone. You don't just date a girl, or you just don't date a boy. You date their family. And
Right.
we've been going through this. And in some aspects, I think Aiden understands, but in other aspects, I don't think he sees it yet. So great lesson. I just think
Yeah.
we should continue this conversation when we in another arena, to where we can